and on U.S. News and World Report's honor roll of Best Children's Hospitals. We're also recognized for excellence in each of the 10 specialty areas being evaluated. Our expanded network of regional locations brings our nationally ranked care to more families closer to where they live. Visit chp.edu/US News to learn more or to find and schedule care near you.
Providing reliable protection since 1877, we are Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies. From small beginnings and over a century later, we maintain our dedication to our policyholders to provide dependable insurance protection and excellent customer service. Protecting everything from your home to your business has never been easier. Our team is here to ensure that you, your family, and your assets are taken care of. We enjoy giving back and doing our part to keep Martinsburg a great place to be.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%, Parsons' goal of financing for all, and Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
Welcome to the 2023 Berkeley County Youth Fair. The Berkeley County Youth Fair is brought to you by Mimi and Papa's Dips and More, Sheer Dew Lights, the Brown Funeral Home and Cremations, Robert Fields and Sons, RAI Properties, Modern Realty Results, the Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies, Oak Crest Realty, CBP Enterprises LLC, and the UPMC Children's Hospital. Let's go live to the fair and join our TV10 broadcast crew.
I'm going to be in the ring today during the sheep show, taking some pictures of all the exhibitors. I wanted to let the family and friends know if you guys have anybody showing today. I'm going to have all of the pictures posted on my Facebook page in a huge album for you guys for free, so you don't have to pay for any of the pictures or anything. So feel free to follow me on Facebook. That's Michaela and Photography. I'll have all the pictures posted on there, and I'll make sure that the Berkeley County Youth Fair site will have them all available for you guys as well. So thank you guys for having me, and have a good sheep show.
That's not what I call her. What are you, Kiki? Kiki. Oh. You said that. Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our 2023 edition of the Berkeley County Youth Fair Sheep Show. We're going to get started first thing off this morning. If everyone will please stand, we're going to play the national anthem before we get started, and then we will jump right into the show. previous winner in the ring, representing Musselman FFA, this is Brianna Scheuer. We should have a second participant in this class today. That would be Reese Barrett, but she is recovering from a car accident, and she is on the mend, so we hope to see her back in the ring next year.
Well, excited to be with you guys. It's been a little bit, and we were talking about it this morning. I actually sorted this deal back during COVID, so this is my first time in person because the last time I was a part of this fair, we did it virtually. So it's kind of a breath of fresh air to actually get out here and interact with people and not sit behind a computer screen. Obviously, young ladies here has had quite a bit of success leading up to this point last year. And I'll tell you, I'm not going to sit here and talk about you. I don't want to, I want to put you with the rest of them here in a little bit, and let's see how things shake out. But the thing that I'm going to tell you is fundamentally, you're doing a lot of things alike. We'll get into the specifics here in just a little bit. I know we've only got one young lady over here that's supposed to be out here. I hope that she is getting better each day. Obviously had, it sounds like a car wreck, so hopefully next year we can get her back out here. But I think a really good way to start, and like I said, going to be interesting to see how the young lady fits with some of the others that we pull out here in just a little bit. But if you guys will, let's go ahead and put our hands together for this young lady. We'll go ahead and dismiss her from the ring.
Thank you, Leanne. Next up, we're going to have our first division of our senior showmanship. We have number 35 representing Scrabble Scramblers, that's Reagan Barrett. 64 representing Spring Mills FFA is Peyton Dugan. Emma Height, number 121, is representing Musselman FFA. Hawk Kendig, number 91, is representing the Scrabble Scramblers 4-H Club. Also from the Scrabble Scramblers 4-H Club is Evelyn McPherson, number 253. Musselman FFA is represented by Sarah Price, number 255, and 182, Brandon Weber, Swan Pond 4-H Club.
Let me take a moment to introduce our judge today. This is Taylor Langford. He's from Knoxville, Tennessee, and he currently serves as a livestock training coach at the University of Tennessee. Before that, he completed degrees and judged at the Northwestern Oklahoma A&M and Oklahoma State University. He later completed a master's degree in ruminant nutrition at Virginia Tech, which we will excuse you from being a part
talk about later on when we bring the top end back together. In terms of who's going to make that cut and the ones that I'm going to go ahead and pull, young lady up front and the young lady right behind her are the two that probably from just the fundamentals and a dynamic standpoint hit me the hardest. Another thing that I'm going to talk about with each one of them is things I'd work on. Young lady right here, I think just in terms of eye contact, presence, you're doing a lot of things just in terms of yourself that work. Problem is that weather wants to pull down on you and not necessarily get in and embrace, and there's times he wants to bounce around. So we've got to get that sheep comfortable with just planting and pushing and rolling on. Gentlemen right here, work on getting that used neck back, clean up feet and leg placement. Got to do a better job of positioning ourselves in front of that sheep to get her piece together. Young lady right here is close, and the problem is that one's not very smart. There's no way around it. She's wanting to get up in her top line and just not really wanting to set down and get comfortable. Kind of puts you in a little bit of a pickle today. I think if that sheep responds a little better, I'll probably go ahead and pull you. Unfortunately, she's kind of got a mind of her own. Young lady right here is very close. You got to be cognizant of what's going on with that sheep from the side. We lose that one's loin edge, and it's probably because we've got that sheep too stretched out. There's also some times that one, just in terms of neck placement, what it's wanting to do, just didn't balance up maybe as quickly as what we find on those top two. You're a heck of a showman. Just got to get some of the logistics pieced together. And then gentlemen right here, getting in front of that weather, getting him to brace, understanding how to switch hands and work that sheep in motion, I think is going to be very, very important moving forward. Like I said, nice set of seniors to start out this deal. We'll bring the two young ladies up front back out of this heat. Once again, let's put our hands together for these kids as they exit the ring.
Coming back will be Reagan Barrett and Hayden Dugan. Coming in next is our second division of senior showmanship. This will be number 24, Karen Glasper from the Crowd Wranglers. Isabel Boyer is number 42 from Spring Hills FFA.
Probably just a little more depth, a little more consistency. So instead of keeping two, I pull these three back. I think they probably fit just the parts and pieces I'm looking for from the side, and probably get in there and get it done just a little quicker. You know, things that we change, gentlemen, right here. I think you do a nice job of getting that one squared up at the surface. There's times, though, we lose that weather's top line. He's a little awkward with what he's wanting to do with his head, and honestly, I think you want to squat down quite a bit when you get out and move. Stand up, get comfortable. If I had to walk around like that, it would not be comfy, and just make yourself look a little more natural, but we got to get that sheep to drive for sure. Young lady right here's got one that I think just in terms of getting neck back, getting that sheep to push into you is the big thing for me. We've got to get a brace. Young lady right here, you're close, and I'll tell you, if I could have got this earlier, I'm in. Sheep got away from you a couple times, and I think just in terms of logistics of getting out there and getting them going, that's probably what gets you in trouble. I love that look right there. I got to have a little more consistency in motion and get those things pieced together. Like I said, if I'm pulling another one, you would be next. But I think the big thing for me, like I said, is in motion. Young lady right here, this weather's a little tricky. There's no way around it. He's awkward in terms of what he's wanting to do on the brace, wants to pull down, drive his spine up, and unfortunately, I just don't know if we ever got a clean enough look at that sheep throughout the duration of the drive. Like I said, I felt like these three make the most sense in this class. Once again, let's congratulate these kids as they exit the ring. Nice job.
So coming back for the final drive for senior showmanship will be Garrett Glassford, Isabel Boyard, and Paige Knott. Coming in the ring now, we have our third division of senior showmanship. This will be 199, Madeline Emmerich from the New Seeker 4-H Club. Rivers Jenkins is 434 from the Hedgesville New Adventures 4-H Club. Brianna Lowe from the Hedgesville FFA is number 20. Mackenzie Phoebus, 205 from Spring Mills FFA. Mackenzie Stout, 202 from Spring Mills FFA. And Gracie Wanku, Musselman FFA, number 88.
For those who may not
Be familiar with showmanship? Showmanship is a contest of how well you have worked with your animal for the last couple months. It really doesn't have as much to do with conformation as our later classes, but it's how well you present that animal, how well you you've trained it and worked with it for the last couple months. And so it's really it's a really cool thing to win, let me tell you that.
I believe this is our last heat of senior showmen, and you know, I think in this set in particular, probably as much diversity in terms of presentation as we've seen thus far. So you got to kind of take some of that into mind and figure out what makes the most sense. And I guess for me, the two that I like the best in this lineup are the two young ladies here on the end, and they'll come back. I just think they've been the most consistent. And are there things we need to fix? Absolutely. But I do think they've kept their sheep together and presented at the highest level in comparison to the ones we've got out here. Young lady right here up front, you've got one that's got one speed, and that is very slow. And we've got to figure out how to get that weather to move and get his head up and get him out and get him going. I think you do a nice job in terms of feet and leg placement. But for a guy like me who preaches in motion, I've got to be a little quicker. I've got to get that sheep out and going and get him kind of fired up. Young lady right here, in terms of what you're doing, I like your presentation, I like your intensity, and I like your drive. Bottom line, that sheep's way too stretched out, and that ewe wants to get way out from underneath you. I think you got to take a little more time to get her back legs set up, because she's wanting to get funny with them, wanting to rotate them. If we look right here, we got to clean up our front feet as well. Young lady right here is another one that I think, just in terms of her presentation, she's putting herself in a position to make the cut. Unfortunately, that guy doesn't want to brace, and that's what it comes down to for me. He never really got up in there and pushed into her. He's losing his top line. We've got to be a little quicker to the punch. Young lady right here, you got the exact opposite problem. You probably get too much brace out of that sheep. That's why that one's spine goes up. We lose that one's loin edge. Got to do a better job of piecing that one together from the side, getting our front legs squared up underneath this to move any higher. Nice set to round out the seniors. Once again, let's put our hands together for these kids as they exit the ring.
So with that will be Mackenzie Stout and Grace Winecoop. Gracie. So we need in our ring now, this will be our senior showmanship. We need Reagan Barrett, Peyton Dugan, Garrett Glassford, Isabel Boyard, Mackenzie Stout, and Gracie Winecoop. Oh, and Paige Knott, excuse me.
to win this deal, and it's not very close in my mind. Just in terms of, we take these two, blend them together, we've got you, but yet you're still better. And that's the way I see it, and if you don't like my bluntness, I'm sorry, but that's just how I roll. You came in here, and I knew it was yours to win. Let's sort through the rest. Because your presentation from the side is unmatched. Just how you control that sheep's head and neck and how we're keeping everything pieced together, that's my type. You're good on the brace. You get the hardest drive out of that sheep, but don't get off in terms of top line. You had one boo-boo in this entire deal. She lost her loin edge when we circled around that second time. And you solidified why you win, because I saw it when you pulled in, and then I turned around and I was like, well, thank you. Let's move on. You're a heck of a showman. And it's going to be fun to see how you fit with the rest the longer that we're out here. But if you go home and change anything, you're just hurting yourself. You're a really good showman. Congrats once again. Young lady right here, I'll tell you how you control that one's neck and how you keep that one's top line and is honestly the reason I keep you over the gentleman. The other big thing for me is I think you're more comfortable in motion than what the young man is, especially in terms of keeping her head up, keeping it going the right direction, and getting the most out of that sheep. Why do you get beat? Look at your front feet. What's wrong with them? There you go. See, I didn't even have to tell you. You made the face, you know. Young lady that wins is more consistent down low, keeps her feet together. And there's times when you get into that weather, he's wanting to do something funky with his non-show side back leg. He's wanting to rotate it, not necessarily piece it together. That look right there, though, that's what I'm after. That's what you got to have consistently. Keep her feet at the surface of her skeleton square with inside of her body wall. You do a lot of things right. Just some little things I'd change to maybe go ahead and make that decision up top closer. Gentleman right here in third. You got a weather to me that's a little awkward to show, just in terms of what he's doing with his neck. And I think honestly where it becomes probably the biggest issue for me is in motion, because we don't do as good of a job of just keeping that thing's neck up out of the top of his blade and actually getting the most look in motion. He wants to drop his head and not necessarily get out and go. Now, one thing I feel like you do as good as any, you are very conscientious of feet and leg placement, to the point that it almost gets you in trouble, because there's some times that you're set up like you need to and you bump them. You bump them because you want it to be perfect. I tell kids all the time, it's okay just to be good at setting feet and legs as long as you got it to match in motion and from the side. I don't need you to be excellent at feet and legs. I just need you to be good and keep them square and move on. Like I said, though, in motion, get that guy's head up, keep him motoring and running uphill. You do an awesome job. Congrats once again. Young lady right here, I'll be honest, I thought you were going to be one that would be in the hunt. I really did. And, you know, just if we're talking about front end presentation, you probably match my winner as close as anyone. Problem is, this you cannot figure out what she wants to do with her back legs. She wants to pull it forward. And I'll tell you, I think the reason she's doing it, we might have her too stretched out. That's why she keeps pulling it forward, because she's not comfortable. I think if we can clean up logistics off rear skeleton with that look right there, that's going to be, that's got the parts and pieces that I think are going to be very interesting moving forward. Unfortunately, she gave up on her rear skeleton. Love how you work front ends. Just got to clean up feet and legs. Young lady that comes out next, you got a hard job. You got the little one. She is very awkward to get presented. There's no way around it. Why? She loves to do weird things with her top line on the brace. And there's also times when I walked around you, she's wanting to do this. She can't get comfortable. And I think it's hard to get a sheep presented when they're not comfortable. Do you know what you need to do? Yes. Are you a good showman? Yes. Your teammate didn't help you. Bottom line. And when it comes right down to it, When you've got a young one that to me is still figuring things out, that means you got to work that much harder because you've got to fix her uh-ohs more than anyone else in here. I thought you did an awesome job of doing it. Unfortunately, this look right here, I got a little too much in terms of feet and legs and top line. Just got to get things cleaned up ever so slightly. Keep doing what you're doing. Young lady that comes out next, another one that in terms of neck and controlling their muzzle, I like a lot of things you do, and I also think you're pretty good in motion. When you were out here in your heat earlier, I think that you worked a little better for you. We come back out here, and she's figured out how to get in reverse because that ewe wants to back out quite a bit in terms of getting them propped up, getting them braced. And I think if we could just get her to commit, we have a little different story moving forward. I think it makes my decision maybe a little more interesting within that group. Young lady right here, I pulled you out of that last heat, so you maybe didn't have as much time to maybe get in here and get prepped, but there's some things you're doing that I like, and I'm going to be very frank with you. I think if you're not in the last heat and that weather isn't as tired, I think that changes some things for you. Because when we bring him back out here, he wants to drive his spine up. He can't get comfortable. He's not, I don't know if he's necessarily got enough gas in his tank to actually get out here and work that long because he's doing that right there. He's driving his spine up. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you're over-bracing him. You got to pull out a little bit, take some pressure off with your leg, and let that sheep come together. How you control him in motion, how you get everything pieced together from the side works. Where I get the hardest, though, is right here on the brace. And I think if you fix that, sky's the limit. Those seniors were awfully, awfully good, and I know most of them have left the ring. But let's go ahead and put our hands together for them one more time.
So our senior winner today is Reagan Barrett. Our reserve was Paige Knott. Third place was Garrett Glassford. Fourth, Mackenzie Stout. Fifth was Isabel Boyard. Sixth was Peyton Dugan. And seventh was Gracie Warrencoop. We're now ready to take some pictures.
When you do the same thing for 135 years, you learn to do it well. For 135 years, we've been helping families through the hardest times of their lives. That's because we're a family as well. When your family loses a loved one, we're here to help. We're Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson. We're here when you need us.
Proud sponsors of the Berkeley County Youth Fair.
I'm Jocelyn Perkins, and my father, Jeremy Perkins, is the owner of CBP Enterprises, LLC, which is a third-generation family-owned business serving the tri-state area for over 50 years. My grandfather, Cecil, and my father, Jeremy, have always been a big supporter of the local youth. If you want a hardworking, trustworthy, honest company that helps with all your landscaping, asphalt maintenance, seal coating, parking lot, and line striping, call Jeremy Perkins at 304-671-9057, WB009596.
Ready to buy your dream home? Ready to sell your current home? Rhonda Shade is ready to help you. Rhonda grew up on a dairy farm in Berkeley County where she and her family loved showing their animals at the youth fair. Rhonda would love the opportunity to discuss how her experience and market knowledge can help you. It just takes a call, text, or email to get started. Call Rhonda Shade today at 304-261-4718 or visit RhondaHelpsSellHomes.com. Rhonda's looking forward to seeing everyone at this year's Berkeley County Youth Fair.
Looking for a new fence, replacing an old fence, or just fixing an existing fence? RAI Properties can help you. With licensed and insured staff, your fencing project will be in good hands. We have over 20 years of experience in the industry and the community. We take our work seriously. You can trust that you'll enjoy looking at your finished fence for years to come. RAI also specializes in lawn care, decking, flooring, renovations, painting, and vent work. To get a quote, go to www.raiproperties.com or give us a call at 304-995-9764.
Jacob Phoebus, 186, from the Hedgesville New Adventures 4-H Club. Bailey Ryder, 164, Tomahawk 4-H Club. And from the Scrabble Scramblers 4-H Club, we have number 46, Cheyenne Stickles.
And I just feel like these two are a little more in line with what I like. That's why we'll bring them back. I think they're just the most consistent and get the most out of their sheep the longer that we're out here. Buddy, you got a big one, and she is a little tricky to get presented. Just not really wanting to commit and necessarily get squared up at the surface. We got to work on getting her neck back, getting her back legs in line to move up any higher. Young lady right here is close. I tell you, you got to take some pressure off of her head. You're trying to pull it way too far out of the top of her skeleton, and when you're doing that, she's losing her top line. I think you've done a nice job of keeping them together. I felt like these two were just a little more consistent in motion. That's why you don't go ahead and get the pull today. Gentlemen right here, we got to work on getting in front of that sheep and getting him to brace. He's wanting to run downhill. Doesn't necessarily hook up right from this side. Need to clean up feet and legs. Gentlemen right here, that one's a little tough to get shown too. That one evidently didn't wake up on the right side of the bed this morning and just is wanting to make your job that much harder. I think in terms of getting a consistent look from the side. I just don't know if that happened today, and it's unfortunate because you know what you need to do. That one just didn't help you. And lady right here, you do a good job of getting in front of them. I think we got to work on getting neck back, and more importantly, not getting that one too stretched out, because when he gets stretched out, he does exactly what he just done. Pulls down, recollects himself. Got to be a little more consistent on the brace. And then young lady right here is another one to me that is close. At the same time, our top line's a little awkward. Got to clean up our feet and legs off both ends and make sure those things are squared up at the base of her skeleton. Like I said, awfully good set of young kids. We'll keep these two back. Let's put our hands together for these kids as they exit the ring.
So coming back, we will have Grant Billiard and Addison Hott. Coming in the ring now, we'll have our second group of intermediate showmen. We'll have Angelina Allball from the Wetumpka 4-H Club, and she's wearing 230. Holden Custer, 183 from Hedgesville FFA. Maya Derrick, 241 from the Tuscarora Indians 4-H Club. Mackenzie Hahn, 239 from the New Seeker 4-H Club. Peyton Henry, 211, Wetumpka 4-H Club. Chelsea Lewis, 145 from the Valley Star 4-H Club. Leighton Richard, 192 from the Southern Cross 4-H Club, and 187 from the Blue Ridge Helping Hand Club is Joseph Sama.
if necessarily the sheep are wanting to work, and I think probably makes my decision just a little harder, because I'll tell you that just in terms of fundamentals, I think there's a lot of them in here that need to clean up some logistics, even the two that I pulled, just in terms of getting them in here and getting them propped up. But I do think relative to that, I do think the two young ladies behind me did do the best job, and that's why I go ahead and give them the nod. Young lady up there, we got to figure out how to get that one to move and get that one out there and get that one going, get that one's neck back, get that one to brace, because that's totally going to change the look of that sheep. Gentleman right here is the one that I think is probably close. We get that one a little too sprawled out, and we lose that one's top line. We've got to position ourselves in front of that sheep and get that one to drive. Young lady right here is another one that in my mind is close and was in the discussion. Sheep's too stretched out, wants to bounce around on you, just doesn't want to get pieced together quite as quick as what we like. Young lady right here, good eye contact, good presentation. We got to get that one driving uphill. That one pulls down, doesn't necessarily want to brace. Gentleman right here's got one that's just wild, and I think he's done a good job of keeping his composure at the same time. Getting feet and legs squared up is the big thing that gets you in trouble today. She just doesn't want to work for you, and it makes it tough on the showmanship side of the deal. And then gentlemen back here, I think you've actually got better the longer that we're out here. I just got to have that look a little more consistently early on. The big thing is just relax, get comfortable, and be confident in what you're doing, because you do a lot of things right. You just got to find kind of that fire and that confidence to help guide you through it. Nice set, like I said, a lot of differences. We'll bring these two young ladies back. One more time, let's put our hands together for these kids.
So coming back will be Chelsea Lewis and Mackenzie Hahn. So if we can have in the ring now, Grant Boyard. Hott, Chelsea Lewis, and Mackenzie Hahn. These are our winners in our intermediate showmanship.
it's just a little quicker in terms of getting in there and getting them popped up. Now, where does the young lady meet you? In motion. That shoot's awkward with his head and doesn't really want to get out and go. And the young lady in second is more my speed in motion. But I think just in terms of propping them up, gentleman's been the most consistent of the service, gets the most drive out of that sheet. Young lady, you're very good in motion. I like how you position your body. Thinking of a sheet that's got a lot of quality. You got to get down there and get his feet and legs set up a little quicker, keep him pieced together and let that sheet roll. Because I think in order to highlight where he's very good, you've got to get in there and do that just a little quicker. Young lady right here has been pretty consistent just in terms of eye contact and how we get them put together. Comparison to 1 and 2. Probably doesn't do as quick of the job of cleaning up feet and legs as she doesn't necessarily want to get his head out of the top of his shoulder blade. Got to clean up some logistics on the surface. And then unfortunately, young lady right here, this one just wants to push a hole in the ground with you. Not really wanting to work and cooperate. I like your presence. I like your confidence. Got to get that you to respond just a little quicker next time around. All I get set though in that second division. Congrats once again.
So our grand champion intermediate showmanship division is Grant Boyard. Second place was Addison Hott. Third, Chelsea Lewis. And fourth was Mackenzie Hahn.
Hi, Crescia Hornby here. Larry DeMarco, broker of Modern Realty Results, believes he has some of the best real estate agents in the Eastern Panhandle. Agents at Modern Realty Results have years of experience and knowledge of the local real estate market. Agents within the office work as a team to provide quality customer service. We strive to always ensure client satisfaction through handling every transaction with honesty and integrity, all while offering competitive rates. Modern Realty Results is veteran-owned and managed. Please call us at 262-4222, modernrealtyresults.com.
UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh is excited to announce that we're ranked in the top 10 on U.S. News and World Report's honor roll of best children's hospitals. We're also recognized for excellence in each of the 10 specialty areas being evaluated. Our expanded network of regional locations brings our nationally ranked care to more families closer to where they live. Visit chp.edu/US News to learn more or to find and schedule care near you.
Awfully good set, though, to start out this next division. If you guys will, let's put our hands together for these kids.
Coming back, we have Olivia Roach and Ava Huffman. So next in the ring, we will have our second division of junior showmanship. We have Brentley Fields in, number 76 from the Swan Pond 4-H Club. Carly Hornby, number 6 from the Arden 4-H Club. Zachariah Cackley, 113. From the Tuscarora Indians 4-H Club, Cullen Props, 175, Scrabble Scramblers 4-H Club, and Bella Smith, 232, from the Scrabble Scramblers 4-H Club.
Another good set of young kids. Keep these two. They're easily the most consistent. They're the best in terms of eye contact, presentation, and just getting the most out of them. Gentlemen right here, keeping eye contact with me is a beautiful thing until you run into someone. So you've got to be able to go back and forth to know where you're at, and that's why that sheep gets away from you. You just got to be a little more aware of your surroundings and understand what's going on in front of you. Young lady does a nice job getting around the ring. Got to work on getting a brace out of that one. And then a young lady back here does a nice job standing still. In motion probably isn't just as clean as what we find in 1 and 2. Got to work on getting that one's neck back, getting everything pieced together. But a really nice way to wrap up this age division. One more time, guys. Let's put our hands together for these 5 kids.
So coming back for this group will be Carly Hornby and Cullen Props. So in the ring now, we will have our junior showmanship winners. From our first division, we have Olivia Roach and Ava Huffman, and our second division was Carly Hornby and Cullen Props.
Young lady back here is one of the highest in terms of like I said, it doesn't miss and does so very quickly. Congrats to those 4 kids that made it back. It's very easy.
So our winner then, Colin Stocks from the Scramblers 4-H Club. Second place, Harley Morton from the Roger 4-H Club. Coming in third, Ava Hoffman, and fourth, congratulations to all these stars.
When you do the same thing for 135 years, you learn to do it well. For 135 years, we've been helping families through the hardest times of their lives. That's because we're a family as well. When your family loses a loved one, we're here to help. We're Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson. We're here when you need us.
Proud sponsors of the Berkeley County Youth Fair.
Mimi and Papa's Dips and More is located at 519 Winchester Avenue, Suite 2 in Martinsburg, and features a wide range of items that you will find for yourself or as great gifts. They carry tasty dips, dessert, and sweet treat mixes, Kitchen Kettle Village jams, jellies, relishes, and pickles, Fisher's popcorn, country home decor, Keeper of the Light candles, and many other gift items. Mimi and Papa's Dips and More is open Tuesday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
We needed the ring. Our grand senior showmanship winner, which was Ray and Garrett. Our intermediate grand champion, which is Grant Holder. And our junior showmanship winner. She had no signal. It didn't Colin Stocks. It's like, all right, it wouldn't even let her touch it. She was like, oh my God, I gotta go home. Literally take me. Literally drunk and then got out and was like, and Lily was like, are you okay? She got upset. Anyway, are you going now? This is the biggest secret. Let's go ahead and start things together for the three that made it out here out of their age division. I'm not going to worry.
Unfortunately, young lady got you that car.
So overall grand champion showman of the 2023 Berkeley County Youth Fair Sheep Show is Reagan Barrett. And when we get done with pictures, Reagan will come in against Brienne Shawyer, our previous winners, for our round robin, for our chance to win, to compete in the round robin competition.
This is Eric at Hagerstown Ford. Over the last decade, the way we buy things have evolved. Now, you get on your phone, click Want It, and it shows up at your front door. At Hagerstown Ford, it is that convenient. We've changed the car buying experience on the I-81 corridor forever. And with a return policy better than Walmart, there's absolutely no reason to buy a new or used car, truck, or SUV anywhere else. Just like Amazon, Hagerstown Ford will deliver the vehicle to you, where you are, and on your time. And if you don't want it, return it. No questions asked. Why waste your time at a car dealership playing the dumb back and forth games? Besides, we hate it more than you do. I assure you, no dealership from Winchester, Virginia to Washington, D.C. will beat our price. No dealership from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania to Baltimore, Maryland will beat our price. And no other dealership will allow you to return it if you don't want it. Hagerstown Ford absolutely provides the best experience at the best price. Visit HagerstownFord.com to schedule your VIP experience. Click on the vehicle you want and get your new ride delivered to you at no risk.
See dealer for details.
So these ladies are competing to win a spot in the round robin showmanship contest, and that will be held here in the indoor arena on Thursday evening at 6 o'clock. And if they win, they will have to rotate among the beef, dairy, sheep, swine, and goat. They will have to judge, or they will have to be able to show all five, and they will show against the other winners of the other species.
Well, I think a fun way to wrap up showmanship here on the sheep side of things with these two young ladies that are out here. Obviously, one coming back from last year, and then the one we just named is overall showman for 2023. I think both of these young ladies do a lot of things right and do a lot of things that fit to me. But once again, I do think it's very clear cut. Young lady, you win and do so pretty quick.
So Ms. Reagan Barrett has earned her spot in the round robin. Once again, that will be here Thursday evening at 6 o'clock in the arena.
Sheer Delights at 320 Wilson Street in Martinsburg provides men, women, and children's haircuts, highlights, color, perms, updos, styles, and waxing. Schedule a visit with our stylist or walk in. Contact us by phone at 304-264-0920 or email at trudystarlooper@yahoo.com or by visiting our Sheer Delights Facebook page. Our hours of operation are Monday from 9 to 2, Tuesday through Friday from 9 to 7, and Saturdays from 9 to 3.
Looking for a new fence, replacing an old fence, or just fixing an existing fence? RAI Properties can help you. With licensed and insured staff, your fencing project will be in good hands. We have over 20 years of experience in the industry and the community. We take our work seriously. You can trust that you'll enjoy looking at your finished fence for years to come. RAI also specializes in lawn care, decking, flooring, renovations, painting, and vent work. To get a quote, go to www.raiproperties.com or give us a call at 304-995-9764.
Providing reliable protection since 1877, we are Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies. From small beginnings and over a century later, we maintain our dedication to our policyholders to provide dependable insurance protection and excellent customer service. Protecting everything from your home to your business has never been easier. Our team is here to ensure that you, your family, and your assets are taken care of. We enjoy giving back and doing our part to keep Martinsburg a great place to be.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%, Parsons' goal of financing for all, and Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
Ready to buy your dream home? Ready to sell your current home? Rhonda Shade is ready to help you. Rhonda grew up on a dairy farm in Berkeley County where she and her family loved showing their animals at the youth fair. Rhonda would love the opportunity to discuss how her experience and market knowledge can help you. It just takes a call, text, or email to get started. Call Rhonda Shade today at 304-261-4718 or visit RhondaHelpsSellHomes.com. Rhonda's looking forward to seeing everyone at this year's Berkeley County Youth Fair.
Hi, Crescia Hornby here. Larry DeMarco, broker of Modern Realty Results, believes he has some of the best real estate agents in the Eastern Panhandle. Agents at Modern Realty Results have years of experience and knowledge of the local real estate market. Agents within the office work as a team to provide quality customer service. We strive to always ensure client satisfaction through handling every transaction with honesty and integrity, all while offering competitive rates. Modern Realty Results is veteran-owned and managed. Please call us at 262-4222, modernrealtyresults.com.
I'm Jocelyn Perkins, and my father, Jeremy Perkins, is the owner of CBP Enterprises, LLC, which is a third-generation family-owned business serving the tri-state area for over 50 years. My grandfather, Cecil, and my father, Jeremy, have always been a big supporter of the local youth. If you want a hardworking, trustworthy, honest company that helps with all your landscaping, asphalt maintenance, seal coating, parking lot, and line striping, call Jeremy Perkins at 304-671-9057, WV009596.
This is Eric at Hancock Chevrolet. Over the last decade, the way we buy things have evolved. Now, you get on your phone, click Want It, and it shows up at your front door. At Hancock Chevrolet, it is that easy. We've changed the car buying experience on the I-81 corridor forever. And with a return policy better than Walmart, there's absolutely no reason to buy a new or used car, truck, or SUV anywhere else. Just like Amazon, Hancock Chevrolet will deliver the vehicle to you, where you are, and on your time. And if you don't want it, return it. No questions asked. Why waste your time in a car dealership playing the dumb back and forth games? Besides, we hate it more than you do. I assure you, no dealership from Winchester, Virginia to Washington, D.C. will beat our price. No dealership from Cumberland to Baltimore, Maryland will beat our price. And no other dealership will allow you to return it if you don't want it. Hancock Chevrolet absolutely provides the best experience at the best price. Visit HancockChevy.com to schedule your VIP experience. Click on the vehicle you want, and your new ride will be delivered to you at no risk.
See dealer for details.
just in terms of structure and flexibility, that's good. That's a use nice. One that reaches probably just a little rounder in terms of her body shape, maybe a little deeper in terms of her leg lines in comparison to the blue one. Where about you, Doctor? I want to make her shorter and shorter in terms of her body.
Her neck, shoulder, and chest probably just runs out of balance for me to go ahead and slide up any higher than third. Blue, you right here, really tall at the point of her shoulder. I like the angle of her blade and knee. Good top view that gets out and goes with some flexibility. In comparison, her foreribs just a little flatter. Her upper pin set isn't as stout. And for me personally, when you study them, just in terms of back shape, she's a little rounder. In terms of her edges, probably not just as out there as some sheep we've already seen. This ewe gets up high for me, and some people are like, well, how do you get that one up? Look at her from the side. Her skeleton's put together like it's supposed to be, neat looking. Really good in terms of top line and hind leg. I like the fact that that girl's very flexible, very sound, and yet she still reads broody in terms of her flank line and in terms of her rib cage. You know, big picture, probably not just as burly as the ones ahead of you. I'd probably want to make her stouter in terms of her foot, maybe a little more opened up right out of the back of her shoulder and forerib. But I still think fundamentally that ewe is sound, flexible, and represents plenty of body shape and flank line quality. This ewe right here is probably the oddball of the ones we've talked thus far. That thing is very stout. That thing's back and hip are very massive. I like her trendiness of bone work. Same time, study her in motion, and that's the one to me that struggles the most from there up. She drives her spine up. She's got too much bend to her hind leg. I read her blade a little too straight for my liking. This ewe right here is sounder, more flexible. For me, though, she gets out horse. She's not stout enough in her pin set or lower stifle, flattens in her rib cage, and to me, she's probably the most ordinary in terms of her neck and shoulder blade of the ones ahead. You right here, Brood ewe deluxe, sound, flexible, good body, just a little too plain to look at for me. A little thicker at the base of her neck, a little too jammed up in her skeleton. Got to make her leveler and longer out of her hip. Blue ewe right here is neater to look at. I think she's neater fronted. She's better in her top line and longer hip. Same time, she just reads frail and green. We need to stouten her up in her bone work and honestly just pull that girl apart to get any higher. I put the little one over these two right here because I think if you actually study shape and dimension, that ewe's got just as much at her stage of the game as the ones that follow. She reads fresh, she reads with some shape. Not enough of her today to get any higher, and one to me that's just got to get a little farther into maturity to ever look right and get any higher. You right here is good bodied. Probably just a little wider than the one we just talked. Same time, she reads with a little more cover over her rib cage and up through her throat, and honestly is just a little plainer down through her hip. You right here gets out and goes very good at the surface, is very sound, very flexible and comfortable in motion. To me, she's the one that hits me a little too frail, a little too narrow in her skeleton to move any higher. Awesome set though of ewe lambs. Congrats once again to those kids.
So coming in the ring now, we have our senior ewe lambs, and these ewe lambs are born from January 1st of 2023 through February 15th of 2023. We have Reese Barrett, number 58, Holden Custer, 209, River Jenkins, 434, Brenna McTighe, 117, Grace Moore, 150, Jacob Phoebus, 186, Mackenzie Phoebus, 205, and Mackenzie Stout, 202. Reading down your program are results from our last class. Reagan Barrett was first with a blue ribbon. Isabel Boyard was second with a blue ribbon. Chloe Craighead, 7th place with a blue ribbon. Holden Custer was 10th place with a red ribbon. Maya Derrick, 8th place with a red ribbon. Peyton Dugan, 11th place with a red ribbon. Brentley Fields was 9th with a red ribbon. Mackenzie Hahn, 3rd place with a blue ribbon. Emma Height was 12th place with a red. Brianna Lowe was 5th place with a blue. Evelyn McPherson was 4th place with a blue. And Cheyenne Stickles was 6th place with a red.
trio of them, and I take as much time on this class as probably any, because there's a lot of difference, and I'll tell you, trying to figure out what makes sense is probably just a little harder in this class, because we combine the three of them, we make one that is very, very good. The one that wins is undoubtedly the freshest. Her back, the edge of her loin and her stifle are very big. But at the same time, her proportions of her skeleton are still right. In terms of head height, top line, and hind leg, I do think she is safer structured than the one I end up putting in second. But the big thing that we got to talk about is between 1 and 2, that is the composition upgrade by some margin. She's easily the neatest in terms of her composition. Now, where do we fix her? I don't love her shoulder blade, and I don't love her sternum. She's not good enough in her chest and blade, but that's very minute in a situation like this, because everywhere else I just think she's the best one. That's why she wins. The reason I make this decision so hard is because the sheep that's in second normally is my kind. She's taller at the point of her shoulder. She's thinner in her neck. She tucks her chest up, neater into her. I like the shape of her body. I like her length of hip. So why do I get so hard on her? Of the top 3, she's the chunkiest. She's the softest to the touch. She's the plainest in her hip shape. And if we're just being transparent, we put those 3 in motion. I don't know if she doesn't have the most issues in terms of top line and hind leg. Is she trendy to look at? Yes. Is her bone work the biggest? Yes. Is she beautiful in her hamp feature? Absolutely. But if you've shown to me before, you know that I will not take them chunky and bad spined, and unfortunately that's what she is. If her spine's better and she's trimmer, I don't take as long. She wins. She's got to get out and go better. This ewe right here, I think probably paints one of the neatest images from the side in terms of balance. Her neck, chest, and blade, and top line and hind leg are my speed. Man, I just wish there was more of her. That girl's way too juvenile in her body shape and flank line. And then I think you step behind the trio of them. I don't know if she's just as burly right over her back. Her upper hip and stifle are big, but man, she just looks way too immature in her rib cage and flank. If she's softer, if she's bolder, we're still sorting, because I think from the side that's a really good one. I just got to get more of her to move any higher. This ewe right here that winds up in 4. Really big scaled, high performing ewe that's long-sided. I think one that just in terms of shape, I think she's got some up high. For me though, of the top 4, she's the one that strikes me the plainest from the side. She reads with a little more point down through the base of her shoulder and chest. She doesn't hook up right in her neck, and for me, I want to make her stouter out of her pin set, a vertebrae shorter and leveler out of her hip. This ewe right here is the oddball. Big ribbed, heavy structured, really broody kind of the female that's very practical. Unfortunately, I don't know if the practical side of things doesn't work to her disadvantage, because she's honestly just a little too soft. She's a little too plain, a little too modest in terms of her look. I think that's one of the other ones that's got some condition issues. And for me personally, I want to make that ewe a little bigger and more extended, because she gets a little jammed up for me. Ewe lamb right here, longer hipped, taller at the point of her shoulder. Same time, she's smaller in terms of her foot and ankle, probably is a little rounder out of her hip. I want to make her more opened up and probably just a little neater in terms of her proportions. Blue ewe, really extended, really shapely kind of a sheep that to me is just a little too frail, a little more cut up in terms of her flank line. I just don't read her as practical as maybe some sheep we've talked previously. And then ewe lamb down here is sound, heavier structured. Same time, she does strike me the plainest, not only in her look, but also in her shape up high and from behind. Really nice set though, once again. Let's put our hands together for these kids as they exit the ring.
program. Reese Barrett was first place with a blue. Holden Custer, 8th place with a red. Rivers Jenkins, 4th place with a blue. Brenna McTighe, 2nd place with a blue. Grace Moore, 5th place with a blue. Jacob Phoebus, 6th place with a red. Mackenzie Phoebus, 7th place with a red. And Mackenzie Stout was 3rd place for a blue. Let me remind our 1st and 2nd place winners, they will be coming back in for the grand champion in the breeding sheep show.
If I mess this one up, it's time to go home. Single entry, and I think of you that just in terms of performance and length of skeleton, definitely has some value, and I still think, relatively speaking, that the set of her shoulder and knee is comfortable. She's tall out the point of her shoulder. You know, to make her ideal, I want to pick her up on her rear feet, and more importantly than that, make her stouter out of the upper part of her hip. That use a little more generic in terms of her rib cage and how her back's laid into her. But that's to be expected just a little bit. As we get a little farther in terms of maturity, she's probably not just as fresh as some that we've already seen, but I still think of you that's got plenty of quality. Congrats once again. Let's put our hands together for her as she exits the ring.
That was Cheyenne Stickles from the Spring Mills FFA with 1st place with a blue. That was our fall lamb. Our Class 4 yearling ewe is next, and these are ewes born between August 1st of 2021 and July 31st of 2022. We have Nicholas Byers, number 28, Holden Custer, 209, or 183, whichever one he prefers. Peyton Dugan, 64, Rivers Jenkins, 434, and Hawk Kendig, 98.
To some degrees, and I think this here makes the most sense. Step off the side of them, I just think this one balances better. I think she's needed to look at in terms of shoulder blade and how her neck blends into her skeleton, and yet in motion, she's still got a more functional hind leg, a stouter footwork, and yet to me reads just a little bolder in terms of her back shape. To me, that's the one that makes the most sense. You right here in 2 is the longer hipped one that's really got some extension, some grow. I don't read her neck perfect in terms of where it sits. And I think just in terms of shoulder blade and chest, probably runs the wrong direction, probably gets just a little narrower out of her hip. You right here, very practical, kind of the brood ewe that's flexible, just a little too plain from the side, and in terms of her shape, she rounds off both ends of her skeleton. Need to make her better in terms of her hide quality. We've got one right here that I think is probably a little neater up front, a little better in terms of her hip. Same time, she gives up quite a bit in terms of body, power, and feature. And then the ewe that wraps up this deal. Very good in terms of rib cage, very flexible and moderate. To me, that's the one that's the plainest in terms of her shape and look. And in this class, she's pushing the limits in terms of cover. Probably reads with the most condition on her. Nice set, though. Like I said, we'll go 1, 2. Let's put our hands together for those 5 kids on a job well done.
So reading down your program for Class 4, that would be Nicholas Byers, fifth place red. Holden Custer, fourth place red. Peyton Dugan, second place blue. Rivers Jenkins, first place blue. And Hawk Kindig, third place blue. A reminder to Rivers and Peyton, they will come in for the grand champion. Next in the ring, we have our mature yo. And these are yos that are born before August 1st of 2021. We have Nicholas Byers, number 28, and Holden Custer, 209.
We get our last class out here and get some youths that are a little more advanced in terms of their stage of maturity and where they're at in the game. This year right here is probably just a little stouter, a little more durable in terms of her heaviness of structure. I think she's just packed full of more genuine shape and dimension. Probably reads a little cleaner in her chest. Want to pick her up in terms of her neck and maybe take a little cover off of her, but I still think she's got the most good. Kind of a different mold right here, really big and extended. For me, that use probably a little too deep in her chest and off in her next set. More importantly than that, she's just round in her build, a little too frail at the surface. Nice set of mature use, though. Congrats once again.
Our winner for Class 5 will be Holden Custer with a blue ribbon. Second place, Nicholas Byers with a blue ribbon. So if we can have our first and second place winners from all 5 classes in the ring. If we can put our first place winners over on this side, our second place winners on the far side of the ring. So our first place winner for Class 1, Reagan Barrett with your first place. And then we have Isabel Boyard with a second place. If you'll go over on the other side. If we have Reese Barrett with her first place on this side, Brenda McTighe with the other second place, the other side. Class 3, Cheyenne Stickles. Class 4 is Rivers Jenkins and Peyton Dugan. And Class 5 is Holden Custer and Nicholas Byers. We're looking for first and second place exhibitors in our breeding sheep show. We're waiting on Peyton Newton. Peyton, if you can get your lamb up here, please.
If you guys will over ringside, let's go ahead and congratulate these kids for making it back out here. Needless to say, a lot of diversity in terms of kind and how these things piece together, and just trying to find one that fits you is always a task for a judge. And I'll tell you, I found one out here that fits my mold very quickly. And then I think you've got a decision to be made for reserve, and just kind of how those things piece together. One more time. Let's put our hands together. I'll go show you the two I like.
Our grand champion of the breeding sheep show then goes to Reagan Barrett. She will be receiving a $25 from the Berkeley County Farm Bureau and a banner from Shady Grove Farm, the Mark Orr family. And our reserve champion, Reese Barrett, winning $10 from the Berkeley County Farm Bureau and a banner from Keith and Dawn Pingley and family.
UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh is excited to announce that we're ranked in the top 10 on U.S. News and World Report's honor roll of best children's hospitals. We're also recognized for excellence in each of the 10 specialty areas being evaluated. Our expanded network of regional locations brings our nationally ranked care to more families closer to where they live. Visit chp.edu/US News to learn more or to find and schedule care near you.
When you do the same thing for 135 years, you learn to do it well. For 135 years, we've been helping families through the hardest times of their lives. That's because we're a family as well. When your family loses a loved one, we're here to help. We're Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson. We're here when you need us.
Proud sponsors of the Berkeley County Youth Fair.
From the Tuscarora Indians 4-H Club wearing 113, and Joseph Sama wearing 187 from the Blue Ridge Helping Hands 4-H Club. And both of these lambs weigh 108 pounds.
We get diving in on the market lamb side of things, and I think the blue sheep probably needs to go ahead and win this deal. He's just stouter, he's more dimensional, he's better in terms of his hide quality, and just in terms of market basics, I think he covers probably that end of the spectrum just a little better. He's not perfect, he's too thick at the base of his neck, he's deeper in his chest, and probably just a little narrow in terms of his upper pin. But I still think he's got the most good in this class in particular. We've got the hair sheep that comes out next, and I think one that's sound, probably has a little better set to his hind leg, good-bodied, and one that's probably taller at the point of his shoulder. Same time, he's too one-dimensional in terms of his shape. His hide reads a little thicker because he's just a little too soft to the touch. Nice pair to start off market lambs. Congrats to those two on a job well done.
Our second division in our low weights, Brianna Lowe, number 20, from Hedgesville, FFA, Madeline Hamlet, 199, from the New Cedar 4-H grade, Amelia Dugan, 236 from Springdale's FFA.
Out here, and we're going to leave them like they are lined up now. I just think this sheep up front is just better in terms of his skeleton. He's sounder, he's more flexible, he's neater in terms of his chest and flank. I like the tallness of shoulder. You know, he's probably not just as hard touching and as ripped up as the one there in 2, but I still think he progresses the right way. He's still got enough shape I just think that he's better in terms of his skeleton. Sheep right here is bigger backed and thinner hided and probably just a little harder to handle and drops more shape to his hip. Same breath, I think he comes in a few more pieces in motion. That guy's a little too broad in terms of his neck and shoulder. He wants to round out of his hip and get his hind leg up underneath him, driving his spine up in motion. I just got to make him better on the go. And then we got a really long, extended one out here that's tall-shouldered and has some growth. In this lineup in particular, I think his foot size kind of tells the story because he's just not stout enough in terms of his feature. We got to give him more genuine muscle and body shape to move any higher, but a nice second class of lightweights. Congrats once again.
So reading down your program, Brianna Lowe, first place with the blue ribbon, Madeline Henry, third place with the red ribbon, and Amelia Dugan, second place with the blue ribbon. This is our third division of our lightweight classes. Carly Hornby, 231, Holden Custer, 209, Mackenzie Horn, 239, and Brianna Scheuer, 39. These animals range in weight from 117 to 120.
I get what you're saying because it's a record. Yes. Champion.
So we need a ringside Zachariah Cackley, Joseph Sama, Brianna Lowe, and Amelia Dugan with their first and second place.
Young lady right here in the back's got her class winner. I just think in terms of proportions in rib cage and power, he brings the most to the table and represents the most good in this lineup. I think he wins and does so pretty handedly. This sheep right here, in comparison to the one in third, is just a little more my speed in terms of skeleton. I think he's actually just a little trimmer, a little fresher to the touch. We've got to pick up his chest and open up his forerib, but I still think a sheep that's got plenty of good just gets out horsed by our class winner. Lamb over here is bigger hipped and bigger backed. Same time, she's too frail at the surface. She's a little rounder in terms of her shoulder blade and hip. Doesn't hook up perfect in terms of her neck set. This wether right here has got as much terminal value as any. Really big backed and big hipped. Just comes in a little plainer look from this side. He's too bold in his shoulder, off on his loin edge. He rounds out of his hip and's got too much bend to his hind leg. Nice set of four, though. Congrats once again.
So reading down your program, we have Carly Hornby, second place with a blue ribbon, Holden Custer, fourth place with a red, Mackenzie Horn, first place with a blue, and Brianna Scheuer, third place with a blue. So we need in the ring now our lightweight first and second winners, Zachariah Cackley, Joseph Sama, Brianna Lowe, Amelia Dugan, Mackenzie Horn, and Carly Hornby. If we can have our first place this way, our second place is on closer to the stands.
think the lightweight division shakes out pretty clear cut in my mind. There's a pair of them that I think are just higher quality, but amongst the pair, I think there's one that's stouter, a little neater in terms of his bone work, and just more massive. I'll set the mic down, show you which two I like. One more time, let's put our hands together for our lightweight exhibitors.
Our grand champion lightweight, Mackenzie Pond. Our reserve champion lightweight, Brianna Lowe.
They will receive from the Withrow family. Our champion will receive $15 and our reserve champion $10 from the Withrow family. And we thank our sponsors, and we can't stress enough for our 4-Hers and FFA members to thank our sponsors. Moving on to our medium weight division. Our first heat in the medium, we have Liam Custer, Sarah Price, Bailey Ryder, and Ava Huffman. And these animals range from 122 to 125 pounds.
We get to the middleweight side of things, and we play to win, not because of showmanship, but because she's higher quality. He's neater than his blade, he's better than his chest, and how his neck sets on top of his studs. Every day you use your hands on it, he's fresher than his racket, and he's better than his body shape. Who personally, I love his time line and top line, and today it's kind of like years too, but it's still because she proportions the best relative to what we got out here. She right here is the head line leg grade, and I think one of these still has plenty of muscle. Early, he's too deep in his chest, bigger than the base of his neck. Even just from a balance standpoint, doesn't hit me as hard as maybe a lot of them can. We come down here and you land really big on, really big hit. For Vito, we step off this side, and that's where I hit the hardest. She's just a little rounder in terms of her skeleton.
Runs the wrong direction in terms of her chest to flank, and I just want to make her neater to look at. This weather down here's got some spread, got some dimension, and drop to his stifle. Same time, he's probably the most outside of himself in motion, wants to push his hocks, maybe gets a little awkward in terms of his shoulder blade, want to lengthen that guy out, then move any higher. Nice setup for her, though. Let's put our hands together one more time.
So So reading down your program, Liam Custer was fourth with a red, Sarah Price third with a blue, Bailey Ryder second place with a blue, and Ava Huffman first place with a blue. Reminder, the first and second places come in for the championship. Coming in next, we have our second division of our medium weights. We have Parker Custer, 194, Madison Elliott, 240, Emma Height, 121, and Leighton Richard, 192. And these lambs weigh between 126 and 127.
Becoming a top man in this class. I think both of them definitely have the most shape and the most muscle, but when you start looking at them from the side, I like the fact that this wether has got more length in neck. I think he's neater in terms of his chest, better in his top line, and longer out of his hip. I think just from a proportion standpoint, I feel more comfortable getting behind his kind. And as a bonus, he's trimmer than the one that I like second. This one right here is very bold in his forerib and pried open in terms of his skeleton. Probably maybe just a little stouter. Same time, he's a little deeper chested and rounder in his shoulder. I don't love how his neck hooks up. I just want to lengthen that guy out, take some cover off of him ever so slightly because he handles a little soft today. Lamb that winds up in 3. I think one that is definitely trimmer than the one we just discussed. Still has some shape, still has some muscle. A little too frail, a little too plain in terms of her look for me. I want to make her a little square and more consistent in terms of her build to move any higher. And then the weather that rounds out this deal has plenty of terminal value in terms of shape and muscularity. Same breath, I do think he becomes the plainest one out here. He's the roundest in his shoulder. He's off in his hip, and his hind legs just got too much bend. I think from a look and balance standpoint, he just gets in a little bit of trouble. Nice set, though. Congrats to those 4 once again.
So reading down your program, Parker Custer, 4th place with a red. Madison Elliott, 1st place with a blue. Emma Height, 2nd place with a blue. And Leighton Richard, 3rd place with a blue also. Madison and Emma, you need to stay close so that you can bring your lambs back in. Our 3rd division of our medium weight, Brianna McTighe, 117. Cullen Props, 175. Addison Hott, 124. Bella Smith, 232. And Blake Butler, 143. And these lambs are weighing between 128 pounds and 131 pounds.
probably deepest class we've had to this point, and I think these two make their way pretty fast. But I'm just going to be very frank. Sheep that wins is definitely my kind. And for those of you that maybe have shown to me at some circuit shows, you should know that that one fits my mold. Sexy, good built, very good structured. His chest to flank is the most athletic. The way he handles is still fresh, still reads appropriate in his body shape. I like that one quite a bit. If you're in any other class, you win. I'm just being honest. If you're in any other class, you win. That's a good sheep. That's a very good sheep. I love how stout that thing is at the ground, and still a sheep that's good backed and big hipped. Love the shape of his rib, and one that progresses the right way. Still balances with some proportion from the side. Where do I get the hardest? He's a little shorter hipped. He's not as good in terms of his chest and shoulder. Probably not just as neat to look at in motion. That pair right there, though, is hands down the best ones I've seen thus far. That's a really nice pair to go 1-2. If you're in any other class, you probably win as well, because that sheep handles as firm and fresh as anything that's walked out here. I love his shape. I love his dimension, and I still think one that's trendy in terms of his parts and pieces. So why do I get on him? Put him in motion. Spine's too awkward, hind legs got too much bend, and when you've got a pair up there that get out and go and are more athletic in motion, I want him to get out and be more comfortable at the surface. Once again, this sheep's in a different class. We're having a different conversation because I think skeleton-wise, he's a little sounder than the one I just discussed. Same time, I don't know if that guy is necessarily ready. He's not at 12 o'clock, and the reason that I say that, his back and loin edge just aren't in him yet. He probably fades the most down through the base of his stifle. I just got to give him more genuine shape and power and man that thing up to go any higher. And then the weather we've got right here, big back, big loined, and very stout hipped. In a class like this, though, he becomes a little too plain from the side, a little more convenient in terms of his neck, shoulder, and top line. Just got to make that one a little spicier in terms of his build. But by some margin, the best class we've had walk through the ring today. Let's put our hands together for these 5 kids on a job well done.
Reading down your program, that's Brenda McTighe, she was second with a blue ribbon. Cullen Props, fourth with a blue ribbon. Addison Hott, first place with a blue ribbon. Bella Smith, fifth place with a red, and Blake Butler with third place with a blue. Addison and Brenna, make sure you stay close by. Our fourth and final class of our medium weight division, Graydon Weber is 182, Grant Boyard, number 41, Paige Knott, number 17, and Mackenzie Stout, 202. And these lambs weigh from 133 to 136.
Once again, another very high quality class, but I feel like the sheep up front has to win just in terms of just his proportions and skeleton. I think he's easily the hardest one to make in this class in particular. I think just how he balances from the side is very, very neat, and yet does it with still some spread, some power, some heaviness, some structure, and some athleticism. I'll be honest, and this is nothing personal, I wish you'd have taken his wool a little tighter, because I think it would make him pop that much more. But even with the wool, he still handles like a man. I think that's a very nice sheep. That's going to be interesting to see what he looks like when we bring him back out in just a second. The debate's right here. And I'll be honest with you, I think if we combine the two, I think we've got a sheep in my mind that would be pretty interesting. Because I'll be the first to tell you, this sheep is not as fresh. But from the side, he is so much better in his build. His chest, his flank line is more my style. He's neater at the top of his neck. And for me, that guy's rounder in his body shape and just a little more attractive in how he comes and goes. Now, if you're going to take the one that's fresher to handle, it's right here. I think his rack sets up very high in him. Loin edge is fresh and square. The problem for me is right here. He runs the wrong direction. Chest is the deepest part of him. Cuts up in his flank, and honestly, he is the most immature in his rib cage. That guy's just not there. He needs to be a fat, big one to really get his rib cage to pop in him and get him running the right direction when he needed to drop his flank, because unfortunately his chest is just a little too questionable for me today. Sheep right here, big-backed, good-bodied, very stout-hipped. In a lineup like this, though, he probably becomes just a little too plain in terms of his build, a little too moderate for my liking. But I think an awesome class, top to bottom. Let's put our hands together for these 4 kids on a job well done.
So reading down your program, we have Graydon Weber, 4th place with a red. Grant Boyard, 3rd place with a blue. Paige Knott, 1st place with a blue. And Mackenzie Stout, 2nd place with a blue. So if we can have our 1st and 2nd place winners in from our medium weight division, we need Ava Huffman, Bailey Ryder, Madison Elliott, Emma Height, Addison Hott, Brenna McTighe, Paige Knott, and Mackenzie Stout. We're looking for our 1st places on this side, our 2nd places on the other side. The winner of the medium weight champion will receive $15 from the Diamond S Farm, and our reserve champion will receive $10 from the Diamond S Farm.
Middleweights definitely quality-wise stepped up their game, and I tell you, those last 2 classes I think are the ones to me that probably have just a little more sword, and you have to come in here and truly start breaking them down. As you can tell, it's a 2-horse race between the 2 we've got right here for Grand and Reserve, and I'm going to tell you, they're similar but also very different, and that's probably the interesting thing to me because I think both of these sheep fit me, but in very different ways. And you know, we start talking about how they're pieced together from the side. That's big for me. They've got to be neat to look at. I want those things to have paper-thin hides. I want their necks to be high. I want their chest to drop back and go into a flank that's athletic and yet be good in motion. But at the same breath, they got to progress right. And I think you step behind the pair of them and study their shoulder back into their hip. There's one of them that actually progresses the right direction and just progressively gets stouter, shoulder back. But I think that pair is awfully good. Like I said, it's a two-horse race between Class 3 and 4 out of this division. I'll take one more look. I'll show you how I like them. Let's put our hands together for a middleweight division.
Champion Paige Knott of our medium weight. We're going to take a picture break if the judge would like to go get his picture taken. And then we will start in with our heavyweights.
This is Eric at Hagerstown Ford. Over the last decade, the way we buy things have evolved. Now, you get on your phone, click Want It, and it shows up at your front door. At Hagerstown Ford, it is that convenient. We've changed the car buying experience on the I-81 corridor forever. And with a return policy better than Walmart, there's absolutely no reason to buy a new or used car, truck, or SUV anywhere else. Just like Amazon, Hagerstown Ford will deliver the vehicle to you, where you are, and on your time. And if you don't want it, return it. No questions asked. Why waste your time at a car dealership playing the dumb back and forth games? Besides, we hate it more than you do. I assure you, no dealership from Winchester, Virginia to Washington, D.C. will beat our price. No dealership from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania to Baltimore, Maryland will beat our price. And no other dealership will allow you to return it if you don't want it. Hagerstown Ford absolutely provides the best experience at the best price. Visit HagerstownFord.com to schedule your VIP experience. Click on the vehicle you want and get your new ride delivered to you at no risk.
See dealer for details.
To move on to our heavyweight division of our market lambs. We have 3 classes of heavyweights. We're looking for Garrett Glassford, number 24, Olivia Roach, 160, Chelsea Lewis, 145, Gracie Weinkoop, 88, and Angelina Ashball, 230. These lambs range in weight from 139 pounds to 143.
In terms of what's out here, he becomes the one that's easily the freshest. He's probably the best in terms of his build and structure, and just reads with the most show sheet proportions. Like I said, I feel like he needs to win this deal, and does so pretty quick. He's not perfect. We talked about it in Showmanship, his shoulder blade and how his chest and neck work in motion need to be modified. He needs to be picked up. But in the heavies, that's a nice way to start. Sheep right here, big backed, good bodied, very heavy structured and stout. Same time, probably a little plainer in terms of his build. We need to fix his top line in motion, make his hind leg more attractive on the go. Sheep over here is very good in his body shape. I like the bend of his hind leg. A little too modest in terms of up high and from behind. Reads a little broader in terms of his neck and chest. Just doesn't balance as well. Young lady's wether right here is tall fronted and really extended in terms of his skeleton. Gets out and goes with some reach and flexibility. Just a little too narrow in terms of his upper and lower hip. Probably a little rounder in his shoulder, a little more peaked in terms of his back. And then this one right here is trim, but at the same breath, and one that gets out and goes pretty good. Just gets out horsed in this lineup, just doesn't have enough genuine shape and muscle to play. Nice set though. Congrats to our first class of heavies.
Reading down your program, Garrett Glassford, first place with a blue. Olivia Roach, fourth place with a blue. Chelsea Lewis, third place with a blue. Gracie Wanku, second place with a blue. And Angelina Ashball, fifth place with a red. Garrett and Gracie need to stay on deck to come back for championship. We have 4 in the next weight class. Evelyn McPherson, 253. Sadie Jenkins, number 36, Chloe Richard, 172, and Peyton Henry, 211. And these lambs go from 144 to 149.
Another nice class of heavies, and we've got them sitting right here in 1 and 2, and I do think those sheep have the most quality. The difference that I see between the pair that's fresher and more muscular, this guy's neater to look at. He's better skeleton. He's got a better hind leg and top line. He just balances and is more my speed from this side. Sheep right here is obnoxiously long, and one that's still square and fresh to the edge of his loin. He's not as big hipped as our class winner. More importantly than that, we start studying his length of blade and chest and top line in relation to balance. I just don't think he comes together as neat and consistent as what we find in our class winner. Whether right here, balance as well in terms of skeleton and structure. Just doesn't have enough muscle today. He's a little peaked right behind his blade, too flat through the base of his leg. Got to make him more manly to move up any higher. This weather's got the exact opposite problem. He's big-backed, good-bodied, and stout-hipped. Same time, he is the plainest to look at. He's too coarse and round in his build. Probably is the least consistent in terms of how he moves in motion. Nice set, though, on the heavies. Congrats to those 4 once again.
Reading down your program, Evelyn McPherson, first with a blue. Sadie Jenkins, third with a blue. Chloe Richard, second with a blue. And Peyton Henry, fourth with a red. This is our last class in our heavyweight division, we have Grace Moore, 150, and Brentley Fields, number 76. And these range in weight from 158 to 168.
I'm just going to leave them like they came in because the young lady sheep up front is just that much stouter. He's that much more opened up in terms of his build. His body shape's more in line. He's leveler out of his hip and trendier in terms of his feature and structure. You know, as we push these things to heavier weights, it's no surprise that he's losing his chest and getting a little thicker in his chine and neck. But I still think in this class in particular, he's the one you have to use. Very different sheep winds up into. That's the bigger one that's got more length of skeleton and one that's still probably just a little trimmer. Same breath. For him to be so big, I leave myself questioning, does he have enough? Because from behind, he wants to flatten to the base of his stifle, get a little flatter in terms of his rib. I just don't read his back big enough either. Nice pair to wrap up the heavies, though. Let's congratulate these two young ladies on a job well done.
So that was Grace Moore with first place and a blue ribbon, and Brentley Fields second place with a blue ribbon. So if we can have in the ring now for our champion heavyweight, we need Garrett Glassford, Gracie Wynkoop, Evelyn McPherson, Chloe Richard, Grace Moore, and Brentley Fields. And while they're getting set up, let me reintroduce and thank our judge for the day, Taylor Langford from Knoxville, Tennessee. He's currently serves as a livestock judging coach, and he told us that his favorite part of judging is traveling around the country and working with young kids. So please take a moment now and thank Taylor for the job he's done today.
We get our heavies out here, and I think it shakes out pretty clear in my mind. It's not maybe as tough as what we saw in that division right before in terms of making a decision. There's one I like to win, and then I think there's one that logically fits in second. If you guys will, let's put our hands together. I'll go show you the two that I like.
So our grand champion in our heavyweight division, Garrett Glassford. Our reserve champion, Evelyn McPherson. We're going to have a photo up, and then we will show for our grand and reserve champion market land. So we need Mackenzie Horn, Brianna Lowe, Addison Hatt, Paige Knott, Garrett Glassford, and Evelyn McPherson. Our heavyweight champions received $15 from McKinley and Mason Coates, and our reserve heavyweight champion receives $10 from Keith and Dawn Pinkley and family. And we thank our sponsors and everyone sitting out here in the audience. Please, if you have a 4-H'er or FFA that has won something, please take 5 minutes out of your time, write a thank you note, stick it in the mail. It means quite a lot, and they do support us very well here at the Berkeley County Youth Fair. So we need in the ring our lightweight winners, Mackenzie Hahn and Brianna Lowe. Our medium weight winners, Addison Hutt and Paige Knott. And our heavyweight winner, Garrett Glassford and Evelyn McPherson. Our grand champion Market Lamb will receive $25 from Walls Monuments, a banner in memory of Ed Moore, a trophy sponsored by Arden Meat Farms, that's Lisa and Lane Moore, and a jacket from PRP Contracting. Our reserve champion will receive $10 from the SC Beard III Memorial, a banner in the memory of Ed Moore, a trophy from Golf Watch Hidden Fences, the Dimbeck family, and a jacket from Jeremy and Amanda Stickles.
One more time, let's congratulate these kids that made it back out here for Grand Drive. You know, as we wrap up the day, and obviously I'll come back tomorrow and sort through your goats. It's been fun, and the thing that I want to reiterate is I don't try to fly through them, but I try to do what I know and move on, because that's just how I work. And I know there's a lot of people standing around the ring that have shown to me, and they would probably advocate for the fact that that's true. And I am unapologetically myself, and I'll never say that I'm not. You know, we talk about things all the time, and judges try to come up with these wonderful Grand Drive speeches, and I don't know. I guess I've had a lot of time to think this summer, just being on the road and being stuck behind a windshield, going to shows, to think about what actually matters. And I think we hear it all the time that we don't need to lose sight of why we're doing this. And I think that is a very crucial point. We are using farm animals to raise our kids. And the thing that I'm going to tell you, parents, you guardians, if you ever doubt why you're doing it, wait till those kids go out and are on their own. And you'll realize, man, I'm glad I put them out in the barn. I'm glad that I got them involved with something that truly shapes and defines their life. And I think that is the unique thing about all of this. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't love to win. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't have my job. I love to win. I love to chase things. But in the same breath, I talked about it with my kids on my judging team this year. It's about making young people that can actually make a difference. Because I moved everything into a new house this past week, and my parents were like, man, you got a lot of dust on all these awards you won. And the thing that I keep going back to is, you know, a ribbon, a banner, doesn't necessarily define who you are. And I know that's very hard for people to grasp and understand, but it's the truth. The reason that I coach is, yes, I want to have success, but I don't know if anybody's seen the current state of our country, but we're in trouble. We are. And I'm not going to get into politics, but we got to get some people in office positions that actually know what they're doing. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating to me that the world that we live in is not what it used to be. And it's something that drives me absolutely insane. And I say all that to lead up to the message that I'm going to give to you young kids. And some of you have heard this message before, but every day that I keep going, I realize why these couple of things are very important to me. I talk about the 3 F's a lot. I talk about it with my judging kids. I talk about it when I go to a lot of shows, because unfortunately, people are scared to talk about the things that I'm going to talk about. The 3 F's you have to have in your life if you want to be successful, if you want to live a life that we call good. The first one is you got to have friends. Now, that doesn't mean social media friends, okay? That means people that at your highest of highs, your lowest of lows, are there. And I made the comment to my boss the other day because he said, you know, you kind of do your own thing. And I said, I have reasoning. You know, one day I'm going to die, and I know that's morbid, but I'm going to die and they're going to put me 6 feet in the ground. And there may only be 3 people carrying my casket, but I promise you it will not touch the ground. That's a friend. The other one is family. And I will tell you, that has been the biggest thing that has hit home with me as of late. My parents love to give me health scares, and it's something that I have been battling a lot here lately. Last 6 months, my mom has had 3 strokes, and a lot of people ask, well, why did you move to Tennessee? Because for the first time in my life, I'm under 2 hours from home. And the importance of letting my family be a part of my life. When I took off at 18 and moved 18 hours from home, I realized the importance of that. The last one, though, and probably the most important, is your faith. I tell people all the time, I'm not trying to sit here and preach. I'm not trying to sit here and tell you what you got to do and how you need to do it. But I am also smart enough to know that I would not be afforded the opportunities that I have been afforded if it wasn't for God. And I know talking about God is a questionable thing these days, and honestly, that's probably our problem with our country. We've got to get God back in these kids' lives. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm a perfect Christian. I'm not. I sin. I have fault. Everyone is. But the minute that I let him become a part of my life was the minute that my life got better. And it wasn't because he did all these things for me. It's because if I didn't have someone there, I knew I could talk to him. And he has guided me, he's protected me, and he has taken care of me in more ways than I could ever imagine. So that's my spiel. Whether you like it or not, I'll be honest, I don't care. You know, I talked about it. We've got another show tomorrow, and I'm not going to keep rambling on. But going from virtual to in-person has definitely been a blessing. I want to thank the people that made this thing work and came out here and put together a show that was smooth, and we got them in, got them out in a pretty effective manner. For those of you sitting behind the rail, thank you. You've kept me from losing my mind. Because I get to going so quick, I can't keep up with what I'm doing. But thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I'm excited to come back tomorrow and sort through your goats. We start talking about the sheep, the moment everybody's been waiting for. There's 3 of them I like. And I like them quite a bit, a lot of different reasons. Amongst those 3, I think there's probably a pair of them that just fit me the best and kind of hit all the things that I'm looking for and what makes these things just a little more unique. And like I said earlier, I'm a big stickler for skeletons and build, and then they still got to have enough muscle, and the 3 I'm talking about do. So it comes down to a call of build, and I think when we do that, there's a pair that rises to the forefront. I'll set the mic down. Thank you again for sticking around and supporting these kids. I'll show you your champion reserve market lamb.
Heartland for the 2023 Berkeley County Youth Fair, Addison Hott, and our reserve champion, Paige Knott. We thank our judges, we thank our parents, and we thank everybody that sat through our show.
Providing reliable protection since 1877, we are Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies. From small beginnings and over a century later, we maintain our dedication to our policyholders to provide dependable insurance protection and excellent customer service. Protecting everything from your home to your business has never been easier. Our team is here to ensure that you, your family, and your assets are taken care of. We enjoy giving back and doing our part to keep Martinsburg a great place to be.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%, Parsons' goal of financing for all, and Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
Looking for a new fence, replacing an old fence, or just fixing an existing fence? RAI Properties can help you. With licensed and insured staff, your fencing project will be in good hands. We have over 20 years of experience in the industry and the community. We take our work seriously. You can trust that you'll enjoy looking at your finished fence for years to come. RAI also specializes in lawn care, decking, flooring, renovations, painting, and vent work. To get a quote, go to www.raiproperties.com or give us a call at 304-995-9764.
The Skinner family has been representing West Virginians for more than 50 years.
We've changed the name of our firm to Skinner Accident and Injury Lawyers because we want to be clear about what we do. We represent people who have been in car, truck, and other catastrophic accidents.
We're here to be a voice for the injured and vulnerable, and we take that job seriously with deep commitment to serving our clients wherever they are.
Just Google Skinner Accident Lawyer or visit skinnerwins.com. We'll treat you like family.
Ready to buy your dream home? Ready to sell your current home? Rhonda Shade is ready to help you. Rhonda grew up on a dairy farm in Berkeley County where she and her family loved showing their animals at the youth fair. Rhonda would love the opportunity to discuss how her experience and market knowledge can help you. It just takes a call, text, or email to get started. Call Rhonda Shade today at 304-261-4718 or visit RhondaHelpsSellHomes.com. Rhonda's looking forward to seeing everyone at this year's Berkeley County Youth Fair.
I'm Jocelyn Perkins, and my father, Jeremy Perkins, is the owner of CBP Enterprises, LLC, which is a third-generation family-owned business serving the tri-state area for over 50 years. My grandfather, Cecil, and my father, Jeremy, have always been a big supporter of the local youth. If you want a hardworking, trustworthy, honest company that helps with all your landscaping, asphalt maintenance, seal coating, parking lot, and line striping, call Jeremy Perkins at 304-671-9057, WV009596.
Hi, Crescia Hornby here. Larry DeMarco, broker of Modern Realty Results, believes he has some of the best real estate agents in the Eastern Panhandle. Agents at Modern Realty Results have years of experience and knowledge of the local real estate market. Agents within the office work as a team to provide quality customer service. We strive to always ensure client satisfaction through handling every transaction with honesty and integrity, all while offering competitive rates. Modern Realty Results is veteran-owned and managed. Please call us at 262-4222, modernrealtyresults.com.
UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh is excited to announce that we're ranked in the top 10 on U.S. News and World Report's honor roll of best children's hospitals. We're also recognized for excellence in each of the 10 specialty areas being evaluated. Our expanded network of regional locations brings our nationally ranked care to more families closer to where they live. Visit chp.edu/US News to learn more or to find and schedule care near you.
This is Eric at Hagerstown Ford. Over the last decade, the way we buy things have evolved. Now, you get on your phone, click Want It, and it shows up at your front door. At Hagerstown Ford, it is that convenient. We've changed the car buying experience on the I-81 corridor forever. And with a return policy better than Walmart, there's absolutely no reason to buy a new or used car, truck, or SUV anywhere else. Just like Amazon, Hagerstown Ford will deliver the vehicle to you, where you are, and on your time. And if you don't want it, return it. No questions asked. Why waste your time at a car dealership playing the dumb back and forth games? Besides, we hate it more than you do. I assure you, no dealership from Winchester, Virginia to Washington, D.C. will beat our price. No dealership from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania to Baltimore, Maryland will beat our price. And no other dealership will allow you to return it if you don't want it. Hagerstown Ford absolutely provides the best experience at the best price. Visit HagerstownFord.com to schedule your VIP experience. Click on the vehicle you want and get your new ride delivered to you at no risk.
See dealer for details.